A dark, rainy night. A sleek black Rolls-Royce speeds down a winding cliffside road. Inside, billionaire Victor Harrington sits in the back seat, scrolling through his phone. His driver, Daniel Carter, keeps his eyes fixed on the wet road ahead. Suddenly, the car jerks violently. The brakes fail. The vehicle swerves toward the edge of a cliff. Victor's eyes widen in panic. What the hell is happening? Stop the car, he yells. Daniel fights for control, pulling the emergency brake just in time. The car skids, stopping inches from the deadly drop. Both men sit in stunned silence, breathing heavily. Daniel steps out, checking the car. His face darkens. The brake lines were cut. This wasn't an accident. Someone wanted Victor dead. Victor, shaken but composed, returns to his lavish mansion. Inside, his beautiful wife, Evelyn Harrington, rushes toward him in fake concern. "My love, are you all right?"
"I was so worried," she gasps.
Victor watches her closely. Something about her reaction feels off. Later, in private, Victor calls Daniel. "Find out who did this. I don't trust the police, but I trust you." Daniel, loyal but sharp, digs deeper. And what he uncovers will shake Victor's world. He follows Evelyn, who's not the devoted wife she pretends to be. In a secluded penthouse, Evelyn meets her lover, Adrian Blackwell, Victor's business rival. The two share an intimate moment, whispering about their deadly plan. Evelyn smirks. The brakes were supposed to fail completely. He should be dead by now. Adrian's voice is dark. "If your husband's still alive, we'll just have to try again." Daniel records everything. His hands tighten into fists. His boss's wife is planning his murder.
But why?
He confronts Victor with the truth. But instead of shock, Victor just nods. "I knew she was unfaithful."
But murder?
That's a surprise. Victor reveals a hidden truth. He recently changed his will. Evelyn won't inherit a single cent if he dies under suspicious circumstances. Now, Evelyn has everything to lose. And Victor has a plan to turn the tables on her. Victor plays along, pretending to suspect nothing. Evelyn and Adrian make their next move. This time, poison. During a grand elite gala, Evelyn hands Victor a glass of wine, her eyes gleaming with anticipation. But before he can drink, he switches glasses with her. She takes a sip and her face contorts in horror. "What did you do?" she whispers. She collapses as the poison takes effect. The crowd gasps. Adrian tries to run, but Daniel tackles him to the ground. Victor kneels beside his dying wife, his voice cold. "You wanted me dead, Evelyn, but you underestimated me." Evelyn's eyes widen in fear and regret before closing forever. The camera zooms in on Victor, standing tall as police arrive. He looks at Daniel, the man who saved his life. Loyalty is priceless. And betrayal? It's deadly. As the police take Adrian away, Victor's eyes narrow. "You're going down for this, Adrian. And as for you, Evelyn, you should have stayed loyal." The scene fades to black as Victor's words hang in the air, a chilling reminder of the deadly consequences of betrayal. The next day, Victor sits in his office, sipping a cup of coffee. Daniel enters, a look of concern on his face. "Victor, I know what happened last night was tough. But I have to ask, how did you know Evelyn was planning to kill you?" Victor sets his cup down, a hint of a smile on his face. Let's just say I have my ways, Daniel. And I always stay one step ahead. Daniel nods, seeming to accept the answer. But as he turns to leave, Victor's voice stops him. Oh, and Daniel? Yes, Victor? I think it's time we had a talk about your future. You've proven yourself to be loyal and trustworthy. I have a proposition for you. Are you interested? Daniel's eyes narrow. Curiosity piqued. I'm listening. Victor smiles, a glint in his eye. Good. Because I have a plan, Daniel. And I think you're going to like it. The scene fades to black, leaving the audience wondering what Victor's plan is and what's in store for Daniel. Victor leans back in his chair, steepling his fingers together. I've been thinking, Daniel. You've proven yourself to be a valuable asset to me. And I believe it's time we took our relationship to the next level. Daniel raises an eyebrow, intrigued. What did you have in mind, Victor? Victor smiles, a calculating glint in his eye. I want to make you a partner in my business, Daniel. You'll have a share of the profits and a say in the decision-making process. Daniel's eyes widen in surprise. A partner? Victor, I'm just a driver. Victor waves his hand dismissively. You're more than just a driver, Daniel. You're a loyal and trusted ally. And I need people like you by my side if I'm going to achieve my goals. Daniel hesitates, weighing his options. He's always been loyal to Victor, but becoming a partner in his business is a whole different level of commitment. What's the catch, Victor? Daniel asks, his voice cautious. Victor's smile grows wider. No catch, Daniel. Just a simple business proposition. But I will warn you, once you're in, there's no going back. Daniel's eyes lock onto Victor's, searching for any sign of deception. But all he sees is a genuine offer, one that could change his life forever. Okay, Victor, Daniel says finally, extending his hand. I'm in. Victor's face lights up with a triumphant smile as he shakes Daniel's hand. Welcome to the team, Daniel. Together, we're going to achieve great things. The scene fades to black, leaving the audience wondering what Victor's true intentions are and what Daniel has just gotten himself into. As the days go by, Daniel becomes increasingly entrenched in Victor's business dealings. He's given access to confidential files, attends high-stakes meetings, and is even introduced to Victor's influential connections. But with each new revelation, Daniel begins to realize that Victor's empire is built on shady dealings and ruthless tactics. He starts to question whether he's made a terrible mistake by partnering with Victor. One night, Daniel receives a mysterious message from an unknown number. Meet me at the old warehouse at midnight. Come alone. Daniel's instincts scream at him to ignore the message, but his curiosity gets the better of him. He arrives at the warehouse, his heart racing with anticipation. A figure emerges from the shadows. It's a woman with piercing green eyes and long, curly brown hair. Who are you? Daniel demands. My name is Sophia, she replies, her voice low and husky. And I'm here to warn you, Daniel. Victor Harrington is not what he seems. Daniel's eyes narrow. What do you mean? Sophia glances around nervously before leaning in close. Victor's involved in some very dark business, Daniel. And if you don't get out now, you'll be dragged down with him. Daniel's mind reels as Sophia disappears into the night, leaving him with more questions than answers. Is Sophia telling the truth? And if so, can Daniel escape Victor's clutches before it's too late? Daniel's mind is racing as he tries to process the warning Sophia gave him. He can't shake off the feeling that he's in grave danger. As he walks back to his car, he notices a black SUV following him. He quickens his pace, but the SUV keeps pace with him. Suddenly, the SUV screeches to a halt beside him, and the window rolls down. Victor's face appears, his eyes cold and menacing. "Daniel, where have you been?" Victor asks, his voice dripping with malice. Daniel tries to stay calm. "Just out for a walk, Victor." Victor's eyes narrow. "I don't pay you to take walks, Daniel. I pay you to take care of business. And right now, you're not doing your job." Daniel feels a chill run down his spine. What does Victor know? "I'm sorry, Victor," Daniel says, trying to placate him. "It won't happen again." Victor's expression doesn't change. See that it doesn't. The SUV speeds off, leaving Daniel shaken. He knows he has to get out of Victor's organization, but he's not sure how. As he drives home, he notices that his phone is ringing. It's Sophia. "Daniel, I saw what happened," Sophia says, her voice urgent. "You have to get out of there, now." Daniel's heart is racing. "I know," he says. "But how?" Sophia hesitates. "I can help you," she says finally. "But you have to trust me." Daniel takes a deep breath. He's not sure if he can trust Sophia, but he knows he can't trust Victor. "Okay," Daniel says finally. "I'll trust you." Sophia's voice is filled with relief. "Good," she says. "Now listen carefully." Sophia's voice is low and urgent as she gives Daniel instructions. "Meet me at the coffee shop on 5th and Main at midnight. Come alone." Daniel's heart is racing as he agrees to meet Sophia. He spends the rest of the day on edge, wondering what Sophia has planned. At midnight, Daniel arrives at the coffee shop, looking around nervously. Sophia is already there, sipping on a cup of coffee. "Daniel, I'm glad you came," Sophia says, her eyes locked on his. "We don't have much time." Daniel sits down across from Sophia, his heart pounding in his chest. "What's going on, Sophia?" Sophia takes a deep breath before speaking. "Victor Harrington is involved in some very dirty business, Daniel. He's been using his company to launder money for some very powerful people." Daniel's eyes widen in shock. "What?" "That's insane." Sophia nods. "I know. And it gets worse. Victor's been using his influence to cover up some very serious crimes." Daniel feels like he's been punched in the gut. He can't believe what he's hearing. "What do you want me to do, Sophia?" Daniel asks, his voice shaking with anger. Sophia's eyes lock on his. "I want you to help me take Victor down." Daniel's heart is racing as he considers Sophia's words. He knows it won't be easy, but he's ready to take a stand. "Okay," Daniel says finally, his voice firm. "I'm in." Sophia's face lights up with a smile. "I knew I could count on you, Daniel." As they shake hands, Daniel feels a sense of determination wash over him. He's ready to take on Victor Harrington and bring him to justice. Sophia hands Daniel a folder filled with documents and photographs. "This is everything I've gathered on Victor's illegal activities. We need to get it to the authorities," but we have to be careful. Daniel nods, scanning the contents of the folder. I see what you mean. This is explosive stuff. Sophia's eyes are serious. We can't trust anyone, Daniel. Victor has connections everywhere. Daniel's mind is racing. What's the plan? Sophia smiles. I've been in touch with a detective who's willing to listen, but we need to meet with him in person. Daniel nods. Okay, let's do it. They arranged to meet the detective at a secure location on the outskirts of town. As they arrive, Daniel can feel his heart pounding in his chest. The detective, a gruff but fair-minded man, listens intently as Sophia and Daniel lay out their evidence. When they finish, the detective nods thoughtfully. This is serious stuff. I'll need to take this to my superiors. Daniel feels a surge of hope. Does this mean Victor will finally be brought to justice? The detective's expression is grim. It's not going to be easy. Victor has a lot of powerful friends, but we'll do everything we can to take him down. As they leave the meeting, Daniel feels a sense of relief wash over him. He knows it's not over yet, but he's hopeful that justice will finally be served. But as they walk back to their car, Sophia's phone rings. She answers, listens for a moment, and then her face goes white. What is it? Daniel asks, feeling a sense of dread. Sophia's voice is barely above a whisper. It's Victor. He knows what we've been doing. Daniel's heart sinks. What does he want? Sophia's eyes are filled with fear. He wants to meet with us. Alone. Daniel's instincts scream at him to run, but Sophia's grip on his arm holds him back. We have to go, Sophia says, her voice firm. We can't let Victor dictate the terms. Daniel nods, steeling himself for what's to come. Let's do this. As they drive to the meeting point, Daniel can't shake the feeling that they're walking into a trap. But he's determined to see this through, no matter what it takes. They arrive at the meeting point, a deserted warehouse on the outskirts of town. Victor is already there, his eyes gleaming with a sinister light. Welcome, Daniel, Victor says, his voice dripping with malice. I see you've been busy. Daniel stands tall, his heart pounding in his chest. You know why we're here, Victor. Victor chuckles.
Oh, yes.
I know all about your little plan to take me down. Sophia steps forward, her eyes flashing with anger. You're not going to get away with this, Victor. Victor's smile grows wider. We'll see about that. Suddenly, Victor's goons emerge from the shadows, surrounding Daniel and Sophia. You see, I've been expecting you, Victor says, his voice dripping with triumph. And I've taken certain precautions. Daniel's eyes scan the area, looking for an escape route. But they're trapped. Victor's eyes gleam with sadistic pleasure. You should have stayed loyal, Daniel. Daniel's heart sinks, but he refuses to give up. He knows he has to think fast, or they'll both be killed. Just as Victor's goons move in for the kill, Daniel spots a glimmer of hope. A police car is pulling up outside, sirens blaring. The goons hesitate, unsure of what to do. Victor's face twists with rage. No, he screams, but it's too late. The police burst in, surrounding Victor and his goons. Daniel and Sophia are pulled to safety, gasping with relief. As Victor is dragged away in handcuffs, Daniel turns to Sophia with a grin. We did it. Sophia smiles back, her eyes shining with tears. We sure did. The scene fades to black as Daniel and Sophia share a triumphant hug, the sound of sirens and shouting filling the air. As the police take Victor away, Daniel and Sophia are met with a surprise visitor, the detective who had been working with them to take down Victor. "Great job, you two," the detective says, shaking their hands. "We've been building a case against Victor for months, and your evidence was the final nail in his coffin." Daniel and Sophia exchange a relieved glance. They had done it. They had brought Victor to justice. But as they're about to leave, the detective stops them. "There's something else," he says, his expression serious. "Something we didn't anticipate." Daniel's instincts kick in. "What is it?" The detective hesitates before speaking. "Victor's empire is more extensive than we thought. He has connections all the way to the top." Sophia's eyes widen. "You mean?" The detective nods.
"Yes.
"We're talking about corruption at the highest levels, and we're not sure how far it goes." Daniel's mind reels as he processes the information. They had thought they were fighting a single villain, but it seemed they were up against a much larger, more complex web of corruption. The detective's expression is grim. "We're going to need your help to take them down." Daniel and Sophia exchange a determined glance. They had come this far. They were not going to back down now. "We're in," Daniel says, his voice firm. Sophia nods in agreement. "We'll see this through." The scene fades to black as the three of them shake hands, ready to face whatever challenges lie ahead. As they shake hands, Daniel feels a sense of determination wash over him. He's ready to take on whatever corruption they've uncovered and bring those responsible to justice. The detective nods, a hint of a smile on his face. "I knew I could count on you too. Let's get to work." Together, they begin to unravel the complex web of corruption that Victor's empire has spawned. They follow a trail of clues, interviewing witnesses and gathering evidence. As they dig deeper, they uncover some shocking revelations. Victor's corruption goes all the way to the top, involving some of the most powerful people in the city. Daniel's eyes widen as he reads through the evidence. "This is huge," he says, his voice barely above a whisper. Sophia nods, her expression grim. "We have to be careful. We're taking on some very powerful people." The detective nods in agreement. "We'll need to move quickly and quietly. We can't let them know what we're planning." As they continue to investigate, they realize that they're in grave danger. Victor's people are still out there, and they'll stop at nothing to silence them. Daniel's phone rings, shrill in the silence. He hesitates for a moment before answering. "Daniel," a voice says, low and menacing. "You're getting close to the truth. Back off now, or you'll regret it." Daniel's heart skips a beat. He knows that voice. It's one of Victor's top henchmen. "We're not backing off," Daniel says, his voice firm. The line goes dead, and Daniel's heart sinks. He knows that they're in for a fight. The scene fades to black as Daniel, Sophia, and the detective exchange a determined glance. They're ready to take on whatever comes next. As they prepare for the impending showdown, Daniel's phone rings again. This time, it's an unknown number. "Hello." Daniel answers cautiously. "Daniel, it's Adrian," a voice says, sounding nervous. "I need to talk to you." Daniel's eyes narrow. Adrian is one of Victor's business associates, and Daniel isn't sure if he can trust him. "What do you want, Adrian?" Daniel asks warily. "I want to help you," Adrian says quickly. I've been working with Victor for years, but I had no idea about the corruption. I want to make things right. Daniel hesitates, unsure of what to make of Adrian's sudden change of heart. Why should I trust you? Daniel asks bluntly. Adrian takes a deep breath. Because I have evidence, Daniel. Evidence that can bring Victor and his entire empire down. Daniel's eyes light up with interest. What kind of evidence? Adrian hesitates before speaking. I have documents, recordings, everything. But I need your protection, Daniel. Victor will kill me if he finds out I'm betraying him. Daniel looks at Sophia and the detective, who nod in agreement. Okay, Adrian, Daniel says finally. We'll protect you, but you have to come to us now. Adrian agrees, and they arrange to meet at a secure location. As they wait for Adrian to arrive, Daniel can't help but feel a sense of unease. Is Adrian genuinely trying to make amends? Or is this just another trap? The scene fades to black as Daniel, Sophia, and the detective exchange a cautious glance, ready for whatever comes next. Adrian arrives at the secure location, looking nervous and agitated. Daniel, Sophia, and the detective are already there, waiting for him. Adrian, thank you for coming, Daniel says, trying to reassure him. We'll do everything we can to protect you. Adrian nods, handing over a small briefcase. This is everything I have. Documents, recordings, financial records, it's all here. The detective takes the briefcase, opening it to reveal a treasure trove of incriminating evidence. This is incredible, the detective says, his eyes scanning the documents. We have enough here to take down Victor's entire empire. Sophia smiles, a look of triumph on her face. We did it, Daniel. We finally have enough evidence to bring Victor to justice. Daniel nods, feeling a sense of relief wash over him. But we're not done yet. We still have to get this evidence to the authorities and make sure Victor is held accountable. Adrian looks up, a hint of fear in his eyes. What about me? What happens to me now? Daniel places a reassuring hand on Adrian's shoulder. We'll protect you, Adrian. You'll go into witness protection, and we'll make sure you're safe. Adrian nods, looking relieved. As they prepare to leave, Daniel's phone rings again. This time, it's an unknown number. Hello. Daniel answers, his heart sinking. Daniel, it's Victor. A voice says, cold and menacing. You think you've won, but you haven't. I have one last trick up my sleeve. Daniel's eyes narrow. What are you talking about, Victor? Victor laughs, a cold, mirthless sound.
You'll see.
Just remember, Daniel, you'll never be able to escape me. The line goes dead, and Daniel's heart sinks. What does Victor have planned? Daniel's eyes meet Sophia's, and he can see the concern etched on her face. What is it? Sophia asks, her voice low. Daniel hesitates before speaking. It was Victor. He said he has one last trick up his sleeve. The detective's expression turns grim. We need to get Adrian into protection now. Victor's not going to go down without a fight. Adrian nods, looking pale. I'm ready. Let's do this. The detective nods and pulls out his phone. I'll arrange for a team to take Adrian into custody and get him to a safe house. As they wait for the team to arrive, Daniel can't shake off the feeling that Victor's threat was more than just empty words. Suddenly, Sophia's phone rings. She answers, listens for a moment, and then her eyes widen in alarm. What is it? Daniel asks, his heart racing. Sophia's voice is barely above a whisper. It's the police dispatcher. There's been a breach at the evidence storage facility. Daniel's eyes meet Sophia's, and he can see the horror reflected back at him. The evidence, Daniel says, his voice barely above a whisper. It's gone, isn't it? Sophia nods, her face pale. Yes, it's gone. Victor must have had someone on the inside. Daniel's mind is racing. Without the evidence, they have nothing to hold Victor accountable. The detective's face is grim. We need to act fast. We have to assume that Victor will try to destroy any remaining evidence. Adrian speaks up, his voice shaking. I think I know where he might go. There's a warehouse on the outskirts of town where Victor keeps some of his illicit goods. Daniel's eyes lock onto Adrian's. Let's go. The detective nods. I'll get a team together. We'll move in on the warehouse. As they prepare to leave, Sophia's phone rings again. She answers, listens for a moment, and then her eyes widen in alarm. What is it? Daniel asks, his heart racing. Sophia's voice is barely above a whisper. It's the dispatcher again. Victor's men have taken hostages at the warehouse. Daniel's eyes meet Sophia's, and he can see the fear reflected back at him. They're running out of time. Daniel's mind is racing. They have to act fast to save the hostages. The detective nods, his face grim. We'll move in on the warehouse, but we have to be careful. We don't want to risk harming the hostages. Adrian speaks up, his voice shaking. I think I can help. I know the layout of the warehouse. I can tell you where the hostages are likely to be. Daniel's eyes lock onto Adrian's. Let's go. They arrive at the warehouse, and the detective begins to coordinate the rescue effort. Daniel, Sophia, and Adrian slip inside, trying to move quietly. As they move deeper into the warehouse, Daniel can hear the sound of voices, muffled and desperate. His heart is racing with fear. Suddenly, they hear Victor's voice, cold and menacing. Welcome, Daniel. I've been expecting you. Daniel's eyes scan the area, trying to locate Victor. He sees him standing on a catwalk above the warehouse floor, a smirk on his face. You're not going to get away with this, Victor, Daniel says, his voice firm. Victor laughs, a cold, mirthless sound. We'll see about that. The scene fades to black as Daniel, Sophia, and Adrian move forward, determined to rescue the hostages and bring Victor to justice. As they move forward, Daniel can see the hostages huddled together on the warehouse floor, their eyes wide with fear. Victor's men are standing guard, their guns trained on the hostages. Daniel's eyes lock onto Victor, who is still smirking from the catwalk. Let them go, Victor, Daniel says, his voice firm. Victor laughs again. You think you're in a position to make demands? I have the upper hand here. Sophia steps forward, her eyes flashing with anger. You're not going to get away with this, Victor. We have evidence, and we're going to make sure you pay for what you've done. Victor's smirk falters for a moment before he regains his composure. I don't think so, he says, and nods to one of his men. The man steps forward, a cruel smile on his face. Time to take care of our visitors, he says, and raises his gun. Daniel's heart skips a beat as he realizes they're out of time. He knows they have to act fast or risk losing everything. But just as all hope seems lost, Adrian makes a sudden move, grabbing a nearby fire extinguisher and spraying it directly at Victor's men. The scene erupts into chaos as the men stumble backward, temporarily blinded by the extinguisher. Daniel, Sophia, and Adrian take advantage of the distraction to make a run for the hostages. As they move, Daniel can hear the sound of sirens outside, growing louder by the second. The police have arrived, and Victor's men are starting to falter. But Victor himself is still on the loose, and Daniel knows they're not safe until he's apprehended. Daniel's eyes scan the warehouse, searching for Victor. He spots him making a run for the back door and takes off after him. "Victor, stop!" Daniel yells, but Victor doesn't look back. Daniel gains on him, his heart pounding in his chest. He can hear the sound of police sirens getting closer and closer. Just as Victor reaches the door, Daniel tackles him to the ground. They struggle for a moment, but Daniel manages to pin Victor down. "It's over," Daniel says, panting heavily. Victor's eyes flash with anger, but he knows he's beaten. He goes limp, and Daniel hauls him to his feet. The police burst into the warehouse, surrounding Victor and his men. The hostages are freed, shaken but unharmed. As the police take Victor away, Daniel feels a sense of satisfaction. They've finally brought him to justice. Sophia comes over, a smile on her face. "We did it," she says, hugging Daniel tightly. Daniel hugs her back, feeling a sense of relief wash over him. "We sure did." The scene fades to black as Daniel and Sophia share a moment of triumph, surrounded by the police and the freed hostages. But as they're about to leave the warehouse, Adrian approaches them, looking nervous. "What is it?" Daniel asks, sensing something is wrong. Adrian hesitates before speaking. "I think there's something you should know. Something about Victor's empire." "It's bigger than we thought," Adrian says, his voice barely above a whisper. "Victor was just a small part of it. There are others, more powerful people who are pulling the strings." Daniel's eyes narrow. "What are you talking about?" Adrian glances around nervously, making sure no one is listening. "I'm talking about a conspiracy that goes all the way to the top. Politicians, business leaders, they're all involved." Sophia's eyes widen. "That's a pretty big accusation. Do you have any proof?" Adrian nods. "I have documents, recordings, everything. But I need your help to get it out there. I'm afraid of what might happen to me if I try to expose them on my own." Daniel's mind is racing. This is bigger than he ever could have imagined. "Okay, we'll help you," Daniel says finally. "But we need to be careful. If what you're saying is true, we're taking on some very powerful people." Adrian nods, looking relieved. "I know, but I'm willing to take that risk if it means bringing them to justice." The scene fades to black as Daniel, Sophia, and Adrian form an unlikely alliance, determined to expose the truth and bring down the corrupt empire. As they begin to dig deeper, they realize that the conspiracy goes far beyond what they initially thought. They uncover a complex web of deceit and corruption that involves some of the most powerful people in the city. Daniel, Sophia, and Adrian work tirelessly to gather evidence and build a case against the corrupt officials. They face numerous obstacles and challenges along the way, but they refuse to give up. One night, as they're working late in Daniel's office, they receive a mysterious package. Inside, they find a cryptic message that reads, "You're getting close. Be careful." Daniel's eyes narrow. "Who sent this?" Sophia shakes her head. "I don't know, but it's clear that someone is watching us." Adrian looks pale. What if it's one of the people we're investigating? Daniel's expression is grim. Then we need to be even more careful. We can't let them intimidate us. As they continue to work on the case, they begin to notice strange occurrences around them. They receive mysterious phone calls, and their offices are broken into. It becomes clear that they're getting close to the truth, and someone is desperate to stop them. The scene fades to black as Daniel, Sophia, and Adrian look at each other, determination in their eyes. They're not going to back down, no matter what dangers lie ahead. As they press on with their investigation, they discover a shocking connection between the corrupt officials and a powerful businessman named Marcus Thompson. Marcus is a ruthless and cunning individual who will stop at nothing to achieve his goals. He has a reputation for using intimidation and bribery to get what he wants. Daniel, Sophia, and Adrian realize that Marcus is the mastermind behind the conspiracy. He has been using his wealth and influence to manipulate the officials and further his own interests. The trio knows they have to be careful. Marcus is a formidable opponent who will not hesitate to use violence to protect himself. One night, as they're working late in Daniel's office, they receive a surprise visit from Marcus himself. Marcus is a tall, imposing figure with a cold, calculating gaze. He sneers at Daniel, Sophia, and Adrian, his contempt for them evident. "You're meddling in affairs that are beyond your understanding," Marcus says, his voice dripping with malice. "I suggest you drop this investigation before it's too late." Daniel stands up to Marcus, his eyes locked on the businessman's. "We're not afraid of you, Marcus. We're going to expose you and your corrupt friends, no matter what it takes." Marcus's expression darkens, and for a moment, Daniel thinks he sees a glimmer of fear in the businessman's eyes. But then, Marcus's face twists into a cruel smile. "We'll see about that," he says, and turns to leave. As Marcus walks out of the office, Daniel, Sophia, and Adrian exchange a nervous glance. They know they've just made a powerful enemy, and their lives are now in danger. As Marcus walks out of the office, Daniel, Sophia, and Adrian know they have to act fast. They quickly gather their evidence and take it to the authorities. The police launch a surprise raid on Marcus's headquarters, and he is arrested on the spot. The corrupt officials are also rounded up and charged with various crimes. As the news breaks, the city erupts in cheers. The people finally feel like justice has been served. Daniel, Sophia, and Adrian are hailed as heroes. They are showered with accolades and praise for their bravery and determination. But for Daniel, the real reward is knowing that he has made a difference. He has helped to bring down a corrupt empire and restore justice to the city. As he walks out of the office, arm in arm with Sophia, Daniel feels a sense of pride and satisfaction. He knows that this is just the beginning of a new chapter in his life, one where he will continue to fight for justice and make a difference in the world. The scene fades to black as Daniel and Sophia share a kiss, the city skyline shining brightly behind them.